back to Mark's Design Room. Today we're going to be looking at a few ships that have been giving me designer's block for possibly a few months now. If you've seen my DeviantArt, you know I've been sporadically uploading. I used to do them very regularly. I would crank out ships like every week, but I'm just hitting a wall. I've got 4 or 5 different projects on the go, and I can't decide where to go with them. I know that I have one more left to do in my current string. The last 2 images I did of the Enterprise H, are going to be followed up by one more. I want to do like a trifecta, a little triptych, if you know what that is in art. 3 images that go together and tell a story. We did the Iridani A shipyards, and then we did the wormhole one. I'll show you them full screen in a moment. However, today we're going to be looking at 4 different vessels that are contemporary to the Enterprise H and are bridging the gap between the Universe class and the Sovereign class, if you will, or Odyssey class, if you were taking Star Trek Online Enterprise F to be canon. Look at the Universe class, look at the Odyssey class, and you can see a definite through line in how these ships are designed. We start with the Odyssey class, and we see the forward notch in the saucer section taking shape, which would eventually become the arch that would go across the top of the Universe class. Look for it and you'll see it. And also we're seeing a color change. So I was wondering, how do we get to the dark color style of the Universe class from the bright color style of the Odyssey and the Sovereign, for that matter? So what my solution is two-tone. It's going forward, but with a nod to what came before. If you look at ships from the TOS movies, often you saw a slight blue hue, like a duck egg blue on things. You can see it on the Constitution refit. My idea was to do another two-tone style like that, but with a dark blue. So we're doing a very, very dark kind of navy blue, which would eventually become like the black that you see on the Universe class. You don't have to like the Universe class. You don't have to like the Odyssey class. But for my purposes, I'm considering them canon. Okay? So without further ado, let's take a glance at what we're doing for these ships. And maybe they're going to show up in my next DeviantArt drop. Who knows? If you all aren't on my DeviantArt, you should be. Link to it in the description for this particular video. So let's rock and roll. We all love the Romulan warbird, do we not? We love the D'Deridex, as the Romulans call it. So how do we evolve that forward? How do we take the step into the future, away from war, and to a unified galaxy? Star Trek Transcended, or whatever you want to call it, my pet project in my mind that I'm doing art pieces for, is a universe where all of our former enemies are now united. Romulans, Klingons, the Federation, Cardassians. We're all unified in one endeavor to explore another galaxy. We're coming together again to do the next generation. Unabashedly, this is TNG2. But the Enterprise majestic and beautiful, but taking a back seat. Okay, the Enterprise is being what a giant starship should be, which is a mother base, right? It's like a mother ship that doesn't often engage in combat. It's no slouch, but the Enterprise stays back, okay? The Enterprise is the last refuge of our citizens in the Triangulum Galaxy, which is where we're going. We're using a wormhole to get to the Triangulum Galaxy. First order of business is for safety reasons. Once the Enterprise is the last ship to go through, it's the Enterprise's job to dismantle the wormhole on the other end, because it's an artificial wormhole. We built it on the other side from unmanned probes. Once the Enterprise goes through, the Enterprise's job is to close it. so that nobody else can come back through because we don't know what's there. So, for enterprising individuals only, for bold individuals who want to boldly ride into an area of the universe where no one has gone before, okay? And that includes Romulans, Klingons, you name it. The Klingon Defense Force, the Romulan Star Empire, the United Federation of Planets, what remains of the Borg and the Dominion. We're all going in. XBs, if you will. X-Borgs. And we're under the control of a special envoy to Triangulum, which is the Joint Operations Council on off-galaxy missions. And it's made up of members from all these different starships. Okay? All the starships that are going through. The Enterprise, the Klingon ship, the Romulan ship, and all the ships that are subordinate to them. Okay? So we're going to start with the Romulan sequel to the D'Deridex. What is this? Look at this. What do you guys think? There's the front angle. There's our deflector, our Bassard ram scoops. Go to the side. It's like a bird. It's a flying bird. We're keeping the bird aesthetic from the Romulan designs, but we're keeping a lot of what made the Warbird cool, namely the empty volume inside it. Okay? There's the rear. Have you guessed that you can detach the top part yet? The top part is an enormous lifting body crew transport vehicle that has atmospheric flight capabilities and can land. Okay, so look at that. We can transport thousands and thousands and thousands of people on just that alone. And the combat section below can do its thing. Like that. Right? Except, I got it wrong. It's actually like this. Yeah. So the top part looks like that. Ta-da! But I've been saving the best for last. I think the top view is very slick. What do you see this? Look at that. Let's do it in rendered view. How cool is that? Imagine seeing that thing coming at you. Very cool. Scary. Formidable. But most importantly, not super violent. I don't want to go with violent designs. So we got smooth angles, okay? What do you think? Have we seen a ship like this before? I don't know. My worst nightmare is designing a ship and then realizing it already exists. Of course, these are far from complete, okay? Far from complete. This is just the basic geometry. So what I'm doing is I'm hashing out the basic geometry to get what I like, and then possibly moving forward with textures, windows, and the like. So there's that. Moving on. We're taking in Rangers. What a Ranger is a sequel to the Defiant. So you can see the design language of the Defiant. Okay. You can see the two-tone new Starfleet color scheme. Got your ram scoops. Bridge has been moved to the front, so it's optimized for atmospheric entry. This is a Defiant variant, say a descendant of the Defiant that is fully optimized for landing on planets. Okay, and it's a tough little ship, quote unquote, because we have the weapon module. This is a module that can be removed on the fly and switched with other modules. So you can switch that with the mission specific modules, weapon module, science module, communications module, you name it, supplies module, probe module, whatever you like. And our warp nacelles here are built into our impulse assembly. Ta-da! Very nifty. And when it lands, legs come out of the bottom. They come out of here. And this is our drop bay right here, see? That entire thing actually opens this way. Ta-da! and then this. Ta-da! Like that. See what I'm getting at? So we have a walk-off. We can walk right off and onto the planet's surface when that opens up. Very simple. It's 3 decks. 1, 2, 3. And with a small storage compartment at the top. So it's like 3.5 decks. That's not very important, but there it is. All ships moving into the Triangulum Galaxy are mandated to have a storage bay or a shuttle bay that can fit a Ranger. You have to be able to fit at least one Ranger, and they all do. Here's the Klingon ship. What do you think of this? Welcome to the future of Klingon design. I'm very proud of this. It's angular and calls to mind what was cool about the D7 from TOS. And I went with my own tweak, my own visual style, my own visual flair to do a vertically elongated mission hull, okay? This hull is the primary operations section of this ship. Tentatively named the Shooting Star, but I can't seem to come up with a good Klingon translation of that sounds cool. So here's this section. Here. Our bridge is right here. Okay. Jutting out in the front. This is our deflector. These 2 lights here are the deflector. There's 2 deflector assemblies. 1, 2. 4 nacelles. A unique nacelle design that has a grill going all the way around the front and then down the inside, but protected on the outside. Our shuttle bay. Right here. Impulse drive. Again, very angular. And another thing you get with this ship is you get an easily accessible cargo pod assembly. So we can drop our cargo pods like this, and then they detach one by one, right? And then you slide them up back into the neck. They go inside the neck, so we have a split neck, okay? This is a walkway on both sides, and there's quarters along the neck. And we have a safe and sound little cubby hole for our cargo pods. I think it's a very Klingon design. I think it's simple, elegant, and tough looking, which I think plays into the Klingon spirit, okay? We're moving forward. We're taking everybody with us. Nobody is losing what makes them special, okay? Important. And I came up with a design for a wraparound window. This is all one window that goes all the way across the bridge, the mission hull, all the way across the split neck, and down into what starts the secondary hull. What do you think of that? So you can walk along this whole catwalk, and then walk all the way to the bridge, and look out through the same window, the whole walk. I think you could shoot some very cool scenes inside this. And finally, we have just a standard Federation ship. This is a Federation science vessel. It is a spherical hull. You know, personally, I love the spherical hulls. And I'm bringing it back, baby. This is an unnamed ship. Unnamed spherical hull style ship. Impulse drive nestled neatly into the secondary hull. Cargo pods. Huge shuttle bay with large staging platform. I always like those. Large platform here. Artificial gravity. You can do what you want here. EVA activities out here would be very fun. We have a notched section that contains the deflector, not unlike the Enterprise B, if you look at the secondary hull on that. Our torpedo launchers, 2 in the front, 1 in the back. And our specialty science probe launcher embedded into the neck, okay? And windows for observation. This is a science special. We have a receded 4-deck tall section in the sphere. And in the back of it, we have a walk-in pharmacopoeia, which is kind of like an arboretum, and has a window in the back for you to see out of. So that's very cool. And if you look at this design, you can see the language of the Enterprise, which I'm going to show you. So what do you think of these ships? These are just 4 designs that I've had floating in my mind, and I have them all together in one spot. So we're going to take a look at them rendered. Okay. And then we're going to change our view. We're going to look behind. And I'm going to do one more zoom in on each of them. Okay. Another one here for the shooting star. Another one on the spherical hull. And one more on the Ranger. So, now that that's out of the way, let's take a look. What's this ship? We all know this one. Holy crap, it's the Dingwall. This is the ship I'm on. Isn't she beautiful? Here we are. Let me just isolate it. This one's a bit of a beast to run, so bear with me. Bit of a hog. So you wouldn't want to be showing this on video too much because it's going to eat your computer's resources. Take a look. Ba, 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 ba. It's the Enterprise. Sir, there's a new starship coming in. It's the Enterprise. A little flat, but the Universe class is flat. This is an in-between. We gotta do what we gotta do, guys. Let's zoom in on the rear. Look at these impulse drives just nestled in there. How cool is that? Look at this. Beautiful. Look at this. We have one idea I have for this Enterprise. This is a mother base, okay? The other ships can dock inside of it. Like, this doesn't just take a Ranger. This will take a starship inside it. And it goes underneath the ventral side. See? In that little... the dip inside it. It goes inside there, and then a force field closes over. And then it actually has atmospheric conditions inside, and you can go in and freely work on the starship. So we can do full refits on the go with this starship. Imagine we're taking Voyager and Deep Space Nine and TNG and merging them into one super show in reasonably far in the future. So we're going to the 2470s, I think. We're going to the 2470s, and we're having the far-flung adventure of Voyager with the frontier spirit and space station style plots of Deep Space Nine taking place on the Enterprise, right? So this ship has a promenade that goes all the way across the entire saucer, and it's an arboretum. See this green bar that goes all the way across the top? That's all one deck, baby. And that window goes across so much of the saucer, and it's all one arboretum, okay? And there's like a slow train that goes all the way through the arboretum that you can take guests on, okay? And there's stores all inside the arboretum, kind of like the promenade. It's kind of like promenade meets arboretum, okay? I'm gonna show you here. The ship is gigantic, remember? I forget what it worked out of, but I used to have the exact numbers. I think it's over 2 kilometers long. See that green strip? What you're looking at there is trees. That's all trees on the inside and exotic plants. I know it's a lot to look at. It's so big that there's so many little details that the eye gets lost. It's hard to see. Like, it's hard to really get the picture. So we're gonna do an unrendered zoom in. My more astute viewers will recognize this design from the Deltotan. So the ballroom is returning, but it's unbelievably massive. That long strip of windows there, that's the ballroom. And we have the EVA staging platform underneath the bridge module, or I don't know what you call it. I call this the diplomatic module. This saucer here that's floating, like the floating kind of attached by this this boom. This is the diplomatic module. This entire thing can be detached and flown around on its own. Here's their bridge. And look at the shape of the window above the conference room. How come we didn't see that before? That's a window. That's a Starfleet Delta window. So just imagine how small you are here, sitting in there. Do 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 do. 4 Bassard ram scoops, 2 on each nacelle. You know what? Let's fire up these bad boys. Here's the dock section. There's our dock. The Constitution class from TOS fits entirely in this, by the way. I measured it out. This is designed to fit the TOS Constitution as a minimum. So you can, on a diplomatic endeavor, you can take in an alien starship entirely and engulf it completely and do work on it as a show of good faith. And those of you who remember the motion picture might recognize these hexagonal brown blocks here. It's a reference to the TMP dock scene. Just a little wink and a nod. This is these dots here is these are the tractor beam assembly. Very important to have a very high fidelity, high dexterity tractor beam assembly for something like this, because the tractor beam we're going to have to do here is very complicated. The neck, quote unquote, all these rooms here. Of course, we have our escape pods. There's over 1,000 of them, each holding 5 people. Here's the captain's yacht. Not fully rendered yet, obviously, but we can see the bottom of it. Again, really look at the windows and try to get the picture for the size, the immensity. Shuttle Bay 1. Shuttle Bay 2. Look at this. Shuttle Bay 3. Dock 1. Dock Bay 1. Dock Bay 2. Bridge Bay. We have a bay big enough to take in just shuttle pods in there if you wanted to go directly to the bridge. There's the size of a docking adapter for comparison. We all know how big that is. It's about 7 feet. Absolutely dwarfed when we zoom out. This row here, inspired by the Sovereign class, all these little boxes, these are all swappable mission modules. And these large blocks here, these are cargo bay doors. If you want to put in new modules from the inside, more modular adapter bays for science modules and the like. Of course, we have our enormous deflector dish, torpedo launchers, this shape here, this material, and again on the bottom, this is our strong back. This is our structurally strongest point of the ship in order to protect the connection between the primary and secondary hull. So it's made out of an advanced material, like beyond that of neutronium. Like it's something crazy. I haven't decided yet. The rec room. That huge window is kind of like a sky window that you're looking out when you're in the rec room. And here we have our unique forward lancer. This is the lance. It's a forward concentrated, essentially phaser array that packs more punch than any other group of phaser arrays on any starship combined, and it's used for forward ramming. Okay, so you can forward ram this entire ship without hurting the ship, because we're paving the way for it to move forward with the lance. Okay, so this is designed to counteract dangerous ramming maneuvers that we often see in different Star Trek shows. Of course, before we do that, we would get everybody off the ship. We would detach the diplomatic module, and we would detach the captain's yacht, and we would send out all the rangers. This bay here will carry 4 rangers, by the way. 4 rangers, like 100 shuttles, and thousands of worker bees, and an entire starship nestled on the bottom here. We can fit a reasonably large starship of 500 to 1,000 people probably in there if we really had to. Packing them in like sardines, as they said, eh? On Trials and Tribulations. Is that what it was called? You know, the Deep Space Nine episode where they kind of went back at TOS. Yeah, very cool. I'm sure the more attentive viewers can pick out all kinds of little tiny details. These are shuttle bays taken straight off of Deep Space Nine. These pads sink back into a deck lower than the top EVA deck to have a shuttle slide onto them and then go back up and fly away. You've seen it on Deep Space Nine. The forward notch taking on the color of the secondary hull, calling to mind the Universe class. What have you noticed about this ship that is unique to this ship? The teardrop shaped primary hull. See this? The saucer, Sovereign class looking, and then it actually slopes back into this shape here. When I discovered this, just messing around one day, this is what inspired me to redesign this ship, because I've been struggling with the valedictory class for close to 10 years now. I have drawings of this going back about 10 years, slamming my head against the wall, trying to figure out how to design an Enterprise between the Odyssey and the Universe class. And when I came up with the teardrop, that's when I decided I was ready to move forward with a new remake of this design. This hasn't been actually revealed as the Enterprise technically on my DeviantArt, but it will be soon. So you're getting front row seats basically looking at this. So that is that. And if you were looking for a behind the scenes peek at how my DeviantArt image worked, here's how it worked. Here's how it looks in perspective, forced perspective that is, but when we look out, we realize it's actually not that big. TV magic, eh? Forced perspective. Here's the just background detail. Here's the background star dock I invented. This is a star dock / space dock, whatever you want to call it, that is designed specifically to monitor the wormhole, the artificial wormhole, to triangulate them. So I just designed something that was just like, hey, what does a Universe class almost style star dock look like? Looks like this. Okay. Nothing special. Looks cool from a distance. Not a lot of details on it, but there doesn't have to be, because we're only seeing it from this far away, right? Closer something is, the more details you need. So that's that. Here's the 40 Eridani A shipyards. If you don't know, I'm referring to Vulcan. This is where the Enterprise H is designed. And I came up with a brand new style of star dock. Not star dock, like a dry dock, I guess. With the arms that go around your starship when it's in layup. So what does the most advanced dry dock for a starship look like? Well, it looks like this. It's essentially a giant snake that wraps its body around your starship, and it forms itself to the shape of your starship that you want to build. And it actually has these little arms, right, that spray the ship, essentially. So these arms are spraying nanite compound. They're spraying smart nanite compound onto a basic skeleton of a ship. So we built the space frame skeleton on Vulcan, lifted it up, put it in the docking system, the docking snake, if you will, wrapped around it, and in 3D painted the nanite cloud around the skeleton that grew into the starship. Okay? That's how Starfleet is doing it in the future. This is the 2470s, and this is how we do it. And here is the command module for the dock, floating, not even attached to the dock. It's moves about of its own accord, monitoring the whole process. And of course, you have multiple decks inside for living creatures to observe and direct and nudge the direction of the starship construction, because we still have to have eyes on it. We're not allowed to go completely automated. You still need to be looking at it. Here it is. You can design basically any starship you want with this, because it's so adaptable. It's so modular. It's alive. It's alive, guys. It's alive. Holy crap. Yeah. So this is, you may remember this from my DeviantArt. I also designed a background detail of a futuristic Vulcan space station. Here it is right here. Of course, much smaller than the Enterprise, but not really because I was using forced perspective. So imagine that this object is much larger than the Enterprise. Much larger than the Enterprise. We're going to take one rendered look at it. Any day now. Here it is. And I'm going to up the ambient occlusion so we can see it more clearly. There it is, in engine rendered with environmental lighting. A potential hypothetical future Vulcan star base / space station orbiting Vulcan. Very hard to render this one. Hard to render this scene. I'll tell you. I've updated it since with an improved look. Improved look and feel. Check this out. What's old is new again, baby. First officer seat. Another seat. Captain's seat. This is, I believe this is operations, engineering, tactical, helm. This is fleet ops. This is sciences. Bathroom, storage, ready room, maintenance, 3 view screens. Here's the view from helm. Here's the view from tactical. Again, no matter what station we're at, we can easily look up and see a screen. Okay? Of course, these chairs swivel around. The captain's view. Right here. Here's what the captain sees. Oh yeah. Guest seating. Guests can sit on these benches. And here's just standard level computer access panels that you can just, anybody can kind of mess around with. So let's get ourselves a rendered view of this scene. Let's try to get in as much as we can, shall we? This should do nicely. It's bright. It's happy. It's not the ugly Voyager bridge. I imagine there could be scenes where the captain gets off his chair, walks between these chairs, and stands here holding this railing, having a conversation with the alien vessel on this view screen here, while holding onto this railing, and maybe chewing the scenery a bit, if you know what I mean. I almost forgot to look at the lunch table. Here's the MSD. This bridge encourages lounging for people, okay? So we can come down here and we can have our lunch on the bridge without leaving. And we even have replicator pads here. We can replicate what we want. We can sit here. We can talk to guests. And we can just kind of have our own little moment here where we're looking at the MSD and we're enjoying ourselves on our break. Okay? This would be a great spot to have scenes with ambassadors from other cultures, civilizations, just people from other starships, you know? Again, this ship in an emergency is designed to house everybody that's on the other side of the wormhole, including all the Klingons, all the Cardassians, all the Romulans, all the Vulcans, whatever. It's designed to have them all in an emergency. Yeah. So there's a brief update on all my current 3D rendering projects. I don't know if people are going to really be interested in this. I am. This is my favorite thing to do. Essentially, I'm a hobbyist 3D Star Trek modeler with a reviewing channel attached. Okay, I review things because I have to. I don't find it that fun to review stuff, but I do it anyway. But this is what I really love. I have no idea if this makes for good content on YouTube. I don't know if you guys love it, but I think it helped. I think I give my channel a unique flair. I think these 3D models in the background I've been using, hopefully the average viewer clues in that this type of thing isn't necessarily present on a lot of other Star Trek channels. Maybe this is something that that people are interested in. So yeah, I went to this bridge momentarily in one of my reviews, in one of the skits. What do you guys think of the skits, by the way? I tried to make it so every episode of the Lower Decks Season 2 review had a tiny skit and a joke section that wasn't related to the review in any way. You guys like that? I kind of made them up on the spot. I didn't spend any more than half an hour thinking about any of them. I just said, I need a skit. Bing, bang, boom. There's one. You know? Was it worth it? I'll let you guys decide that. This has been Mark's Design Room. If there's anything you want to see more of specifically, or if there's anything you want me to try designing from scratch, I'll try it. I have designed things for customers in the past. I can't divulge anything more about that. But here's to you, and here's to your comments, likes, subscribes, what have you. Goodbye. Mark out.